Welcome, dear seekers of wisdom. Have you ever gazed at the night sky and wondered, who are we? Where did we come from? And when the final breath leaves our body, where do we go? Some believe in heaven and hell, places of eternal reward or punishment. Others say that once life ends, everything simply fades into nothingness. But what if there was another way to see it? A deeper truth that has been passed down for thousands of years, offering not only answers but a profound sense of peace and understanding. Buddhism teaches us that life is not a single moment, not a mere transaction of birth and death. Instead, it is a flowing river, an unbroken cycle of existence known as Samsara. But what does this mean? And how does it shape the way we live our lives? Imagine a flame, passed from one candle to another. The first candle may burn out, but its light continues. In the same way, our existence does not simply vanish. Instead, it transforms, taking new form according to the seeds we have planted through our thoughts, words, and actions. This is the law of karma, the great force that weaves together past, present, and future. Every action, whether great or small, leaves an imprint. A kind word, a compassionate deed, a moment of patience. These do not disappear. They shape the path ahead, just as ripples on water extend far beyond where they began. But if life is an endless cycle, does that mean we are trapped forever? Are we destined to be born and reborn endlessly, without escape? Not at all. The Buddha showed us that while suffering exists, there is also a path beyond it. A way to break free from the illusions that bind us, to awaken, to find true peace. And that journey begins with understanding, not through blind belief, but through wisdom, through mindfulness, through deep compassion. In the end, Buddhism does not ask us to accept anything on faith alone. Instead, it invites us to look inward, to question, to see for ourselves the nature of reality. So, dear friend, if you have ever felt the weight of suffering, if you have ever questioned the meaning of life and death, know this: you are not alone. The answers are not far away. They are already within you, waiting to be discovered. Imagine holding a radio in your hands. The sound you hear does not come from inside the device itself. The music, the voices, the messages, they exist elsewhere, moving unseen through space, waiting to be received. The radio simply acts as a conduit, tuning into the right frequency. Now, what if I told you that consciousness works the same way? Our thoughts, our awareness, our very essence do not originate from this body alone. They are not created when we are born, nor do they vanish when we take our last breath. Instead, they continue, flowing, transforming, seeking a new vessel, just like a radio wave finding a new receiver. In Buddhism, this is known as rebirth, but it is not a random process, nor is it controlled by an external force. It is shaped by the seeds we have planted throughout our lives. Our thoughts, our words, our actions. These imprints, known as karma, do not disappear when the body ceases to function. They remain, carrying the momentum of our past, guiding the direction of our future. Think of a river. The water you see in one moment is never the same as the water in the next, yet the river continues to flow. The mind, too, is constantly changing, yet its stream remains unbroken from one life to the next. At the moment of death, everything we have accumulated within, our desires, fears, kindness, and wisdom, determine what happens next. If we have cultivated anger, greed, and ignorance, we are drawn towards states of suffering. If we have nurtured compassion, patience, and understanding, we move toward realms of peace and clarity. But here's the most important truth. The future is not fixed. We are not prisoners of fate. Every single moment, every choice we make, shapes not only this life, but also the next. So the real question is not simply where we go after death, but how we shape where we go next. If we truly understand this, life becomes more than a fleeting experience. It becomes an opportunity, a chance to sow the seeds of wisdom, kindness, and love a chance to awaken. This is the path the Buddha revealed, not a doctrine of fear, but a path of liberation, not a promise of reward or punishment, but an invitation to see clearly, to break free from suffering, and to realize the boundless nature of existence. Nothing in this world truly disappears. A raindrop does not cease to exist when it touches the earth. It seeps into the soil, nourishes the roots of trees, or evaporates into the sky to become a cloud. In time, it will fall again, continuing its journey in an endless cycle of transformation. Life follows the same rhythm. We are not bound to a single existence, appearing and vanishing like a fleeting shadow. Instead, we move through time, through countless forms, shaped by the choices we make, the intentions we hold, and the energy we carry within us. This is the nature of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. But rebirth is not simply about returning. It is about the quality of that return. Imagine planting a seed in the soil. If you nurture it with care, with water and sunlight, it will grow strong and bear fruit. But if you neglect it, or plant it in poisoned ground, it may wither before it even has a chance to flourish. Our lives work the same way. Every thought, every action, every word is a seed we plant in the garden of our future. Acts of kindness, generosity, and wisdom create the conditions for a life filled with peace and happiness. Hatred, greed, and ignorance lead us towards suffering. This is not divine punishment or reward. It is simply cause and effect, a natural law that unfolds just as surely as a tree grows from the seed it sprouted from. A river does not suddenly change direction without a cause. The wind does not move without reason. And our lives do not take shape by accident. At the moment of death, we do not leave behind who we are. We carry forward the essence of what we have become. The energy of our actions, our intentions, and our attachments flows into the next life, shaping our experiences just as the past has shaped the present. But this understanding is not meant to frighten us. It is meant to empower us. It means that we are not helpless. We are not bound by fate. We have the power right now to create a future of wisdom, peace, and liberation. The Buddha did not offer empty promises. He did not ask for blind faith. He simply pointed to the truth, that we hold the key to our own awakening, that through mindfulness, compassion, and right understanding, we can break free from the cycles of suffering and find true freedom. Rebirth is not just about returning to this world in another form. It is a journey through many realms, shaped by the energy of our past actions. In Buddhism, existence is not limited to the human experience. There are 6 realms, each one reflecting the karma we have accumulated, the choices we have made, the habits we have nurtured, and the intentions we have carried within us. The heavenly realm is a place of great bliss, filled with pleasure, beauty, and seemingly endless happiness. But even paradise is impermanent. Those who are born here, having accumulated immense positive karma, eventually exhaust their merit and must move on. No joy in samsara lasts forever. The asura realm, the realm of the powerful, is filled with beings of great strength and influence. Yet, despite their might, they are consumed by jealousy, always comparing, always fighting, never satisfied. They exist in a state of endless competition, where greed and anger fuel their suffering. The human realm is a place of both joy and hardship. It is here, in this fragile balance of suffering and happiness, that true wisdom can arise. Unlike the blissful gods who forget suffering or the tormented beings trapped in pain, humans experience both, making this realm the most precious opportunity for awakening. It is here that we can practice mindfulness, cultivate compassion, and walk the path toward enlightenment. The animal realm is governed by instinct, fear, and survival. Beings here are ruled by base desires, unable to rise above their immediate needs. They live in ignorance, lacking the ability to reflect deeply or seek wisdom. Life in this realm is filled with struggle. with little freedom to choose one's path. The hungry ghost realm is the realm of unfulfilled desire. Beings here wander in endless craving, always reaching, always longing, yet never satisfied. Their suffering is not physical, but internal, an aching emptiness that can never be filled. They are trapped in their attachments, unable to let go, unable to find peace. And then there is the hell realm, a place of intense suffering. But even this is not eternal. Nothing in Samsara lasts forever. Beings here experience great pain, a result of their past actions. But even the darkest night will eventually give way to dawn. Karma is always in motion, and transformation is always possible. So where will you go? What path will your karma shape for you? This is not a decision made by an external force, nor is it the judgment of a deity. It is the natural unfolding of cause and effect, just as a tree grows from the seed that was planted. Your actions, your words, your thoughts, they are the architects of your next existence. But this is not a reason to fear. It is a reason to act. Because in every moment, we have the power to create our future. Through kindness, wisdom, and understanding, we can plant the seeds of a higher path, moving toward liberation rather than remaining bound to the cycle of suffering. Karma. It is often misunderstood. Some think of it as fate, an inescapable destiny that binds us to suffering. Others believe it as a form of punishment, a cosmic justice system that rewards good and punishes evil. But karma is neither of these things. Karma is simply the natural law of cause and effect. Like a seed planted in the earth, our thoughts, words, and actions take root and eventually bear fruit. If we plant seeds of anger, hatred, and greed, we will harvest suffering. But if we cultivate kindness, wisdom, and compassion, then the fruit we reap will be peace and happiness. The Buddha taught that karma is not fixed. It is not something beyond our control. In this very moment, we have the power to shape our future. We are not prisoners of the past. Even if we have made mistakes, even if we have caused harm, change is always possible. The first step is awareness, to see clearly how our actions shape our lives. A single moment of mindfulness, a single act of kindness, can shift the course of our karma. Every action, no matter how small, creates an imprint on our consciousness. When we choose love over hate, forgiveness over resentment, we are rewriting our future. When we cultivate patience, generosity, and understanding, we are breaking free from cycles of suffering. Think of karma like a flowing river. It is shaped by the rocks and currents of our past actions, but it is never still. The river changes with each new drop of water. And just like that, our destiny is not carved in stone. You have the power to create a better future, not just for yourself, but for all beings. Through meditation, through wisdom, through acts of kindness, you can purify your mind and heart. You can transform suffering into peace, darkness into light. The past may have shaped you, but it does not control you. In this moment, you are free, free to choose, free to change, free to awaken. Reincarnation. For centuries, it has been a subject of wonder, skepticism, and deep contemplation. Many dismiss it as mere fantasy, a comforting illusion created by the mind's fear of death. But what if it is more than that? What if the truth has been right in front of us all along? Throughout history, countless individuals, especially young children, have recalled vivid memories of past lives. Memories filled with names, places, and events they could not have possibly known. These are not vague impressions or dreams, but detailed recollections that have been verified by historical records. A young boy in India remembers the family he lost in another town. A child in Burma speaks of a life as a soldier. A girl in the United States recalls drowning in a different century. They know places they have never visited. They speak languages they have never learned. They describe events long before their time. Is this merely coincidence, or is there something more? Researchers like Dr. Ian Stevenson spent decades investigating these cases. With thousands of documented stories, the findings are astonishing. birthmarks and scars that match fatal wounds from a previous life. Children who, as soon as they can speak, tell stories of people they once were. Some even recognize past life relatives and recall secrets only the deceased could have known. How can this be explained? Modern science struggles to find answers. The brain, they say, creates consciousness. But what if consciousness is not confined to the body? What if it flows beyond birth and death, like a river continuing its journey? In Buddhism, this is not a mystery. It is a truth long understood. The Buddha taught that life is a cycle, a continuous stream of cause and effect. When the body perishes, the mind does not simply vanish. It carries with it the imprints of past actions, the karmic seeds that will shape the next existence. This is why some are born into wealth and others into hardship, why some carry unexplained fears, talents, or connections to places they have never been. Life does not begin at birth, nor does it end at death. It unfolds across countless lifetimes, shaped by our choices, our intentions, our karma. But if reincarnation is real, what does that mean for how we live now? It means that every thought, every action, every intention matters. The anger we hold onto, the kindness we share, the wisdom we cultivate, all of it will follow us beyond this life. If we truly understand this, how would we live differently? Would we still chase fleeting desires, knowing they do not last? Would we still hold on to grudges, knowing they will only return to us in another life? Or would we choose love over hate, compassion over selfishness, wisdom over ignorance? The Buddha's path is not about believing in reincarnation blindly. It is about looking deeply, examining life as it truly is. Through meditation, insight, and self-awareness, we can begin to see the patterns, the connections, the echoes of past lives in our present experiences. And if we see clearly, we realize something profound. We are not prisoners of fate. We are not bound by past mistakes. We have the power, right here, right now, to shape not only this life, but every life to come. Rebirth. It is not just an ancient belief, but a truth that has captivated some of the greatest minds in history. Even in the modern world, scientists, philosophers, and spiritual seekers continue to find it compelling. But why? Because it offers something profound. Purpose. If life is not a single journey, if existence does not simply end at death, then every moment takes on a deeper meaning. Every action, every thought, every intention shapes not just this life, but countless lives to come. Imagine for a moment that life is like a vast river, flowing endlessly through time. Each lifetime is but a single ripple upon its surface. Sometimes the water is calm, sometimes it is turbulent, but the current never truly stops. What we do in one moment influences what comes next, just as the past has shaped where we stand now. The Buddha taught that rebirth is not about an eternal soul traveling from one body to another. It is not about clinging to the idea of a fixed self. Instead, it is the natural unfolding of karma, the continuation of mind and action. Just as a flame from one candle can light another, life passes from one form to the next. The energy of who we are, the seeds of our thoughts and deeds, continue beyond this body, beyond this name, beyond this identity. So what does that mean for us now? It means that every challenge we face is an opportunity to grow. Every hardship, every loss, every joy is a lesson in the grand journey of existence. It means that our anger, our hatred, our greed, they do not simply disappear when we die. They follow us, just as love, kindness, and wisdom do. The more we cultivate good, the more we shape a brighter future, not just for ourselves, but for all beings. When we truly understand rebirth, we no longer see life as something to be rushed through, chasing fleeting pleasures or fearing the inevitable end. Instead, we begin to walk with mindfulness, knowing that each step leaves an imprint on the path ahead. What we do today echoes beyond our own existence. If we live with awareness, if we act with compassion, if we seek wisdom, then our journey will not be one of endless suffering, but of awakening. Samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. It is a journey shaped by karma, by craving, by the illusions we cling to. Some see it as a wheel turning endlessly, lifetime after lifetime. But like any cycle, it can be broken. The purpose of Buddhism is not simply to seek a better rebirth, not to chase wealth, status, or comfort in the next life. The true goal is something far greater: to transcend rebirth entirely, to step beyond suffering, beyond attachment, beyond ignorance. This is nirvana. It is not a place, not a heaven in the clouds, not an escape from reality. It is freedom, the deepest, truest freedom a being can experience. It is the end of suffering, the extinguishing of desire, the dissolution of the illusion of self. Imagine for a moment a flame burning in the darkness. This flame is fueled by craving, by clinging, by the endless desires that keep us bound to suffering. But when the fuel is exhausted, what happens? The flame does not go anywhere. It simply ceases. It becomes still, peaceful, at rest. This is nirvana. And how do we reach it? Not through blind faith, not through rituals alone, not through prayers to be saved by another. The Buddha showed a path walked with awareness, wisdom, and compassion. Awareness is seeing clearly, understanding the impermanent nature of all things, recognizing that nothing lasts, not our joys, not our sorrows, not even our own identities. It is waking up from the dream of attachment. Wisdom is knowing the causes of suffering, understanding that clinging leads only to pain. It is the deep realization that nothing we grasp can truly be ours, and that true peace comes not from possession, but from letting go. Compassion is the heart of the path. To see suffering in others and not turn away, to act with kindness, not for gain, but because we see ourselves in all beings. When we cultivate compassion, we dissolve the barriers that separate us. We move beyond the small self and toward boundless love. Every thought, every action, every choice we make is either a step toward liberation or a step deeper into the cycle of samsara. Are we acting from wisdom or from ignorance? From love or from fear? From understanding or from attachment? If we continue to chase pleasure, to cling to identity, to fuel the fires of craving, then the wheel turns once more. Another life, another lesson, another round of suffering. But if we choose mindfulness, if we cultivate wisdom, if we embrace compassion, then we begin to step off the wheel. We begin to taste true freedom. So ask yourself, what direction are you moving in? The choice is always yours. Liberation is not found in the distant future. It begins here, in this very moment.